Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity, and I will be your host. And we are going to go on a quest for truth together. So let's dig right in. One of my favorite people to study these days, as you well know, is, if you've been watching the shows, is William Tompkins. Okay? Selected by Extraterrestrials is his book. I recommend everybody buy it. William Mills Tompkins, Selected by Extraterrestrials. My life in the top secret world of UFOs, think tanks, and Nordic secretaries. Yes, those Nordic secretaries who, in one of William's conferences, he showed a picture of Maria Orsic as looking exactly like his secretary Jessica. So, might have been Maria Orsic. Who knows? We don't know. But so we went over a little bit about young William Tompkins. When he got a little older, he was working on the Apollo program. And the Apollo program was much bigger than just going to the moon. We were going to go to the moon, and then we were going to send much bigger Nova ships up to take very big equipment up to the moon to build out a permanent base. And that was their goal. And they were going to go from there out to other places in the solar system and eventually the galaxy. And so it was a plan. And that was the Apollo plan. Now, the public only knew about going to the moon, picking up some rocks, driving the cars around. Now, something happened on that fateful day in 1969, the moon landing. I watched it as a kid. I'm sure many of you, if you're old enough, you were watching it too. It was a very exciting time. And there was a couple minutes where they lost contact, and everyone was like, oh my God, what happened? Everyone was in suspense. And so no one really knew what happened in those 2 minutes. Well, actually, yes, some people did know. William Tompkins knew. Ham radio operators knew. And now some radio operators that had sophisticated equipment were able to pick up the transmission. And so here's the cool thing. Now, William Tompkins coming out, he's solved so many mysteries, and this is just one other little mystery that he came forward. I mean, can you imagine having a life like this, being exposed to extraterrestrial technology at a very young age, and being part of building out the space program? Pretty exciting. But now those couple of minutes missing on the moon always intrigued people, and ham operators claim they recorded it, and I've heard these recordings, and they basically, what they say is this. And so now William Tompkins was in an underground observation room. Now, William Tompkins designed the observation room where all the scientists were. He also designed a smaller underground observation room for to get the actual live feed and to interrupt if something went wrong or something was captured that wasn't supposed to be captured. So he saw what happened when they landed on the moon, and he did a little sketch. And so I took that sketch and made a little rendering of what it could have looked like. Now, here's what the ham radio operators recorded that day. So NASA asked, what's out there? What's there? And then moments later, Apollo comes back with, these babies are huge, sir. They're enormous. Oh my God, I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out here lined up on the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us. And in the meantime, while all this was happening, Mission Control was telling them, no, no, no. Don't point your cameras that way. Point them the other way. We know. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Point the camera the other way. And so here we go. NASA, never a straight answer. All these years later, 1969, folks. Do you know how long William Tompkins lived with that secret, along with all the other secrets he's revealed? I mean, now we have a pretty very good picture of what actually happened, and we're finally getting little nuggets of truth. And so thank goodness William Tompkins, American hero, with lots of courage came forward, and some believe that he may have even been terminated because he came out with this information. Now, some of the white hats in the Navy wanted him to bring this information out, and so he had permission from the Navy, but there still could be some other factions that might not agree with that, and like the deep state. They don't want this stuff coming out at all. They want to keep their space program going, their secret space program going, and all of the healing technologies they have. But it's coming out, folks. So talk to your elected officials about this. You know about this. Tell them about it. Let's get some movement in this area here, and let's get some more truth out. 1969, so it's 2020 and we're just learning this? Really? I mean, the ham operators gave us an idea, but there was no visual to go with it. Now we have a sketch of an actual witness to what was seen on the screens that day. Now, just think about it. If NASA would have been honest, and if science were honest, which they aren't, just think of what a different world this would be. I mean, we would have known in 1969 that we're not alone in the universe. Do you know how that would change the world? The world would be completely different. It would be a much better world, in my opinion. It's way overdue, folks. The Jetsons, okay. Star Trek, we need to get all of this out, and we're doing it one person at a time. So thank you for watching this. I want you to get this book. Maybe it could be your Christmas gift to all your friends, birthday gifts. We need to get the word out about all this stuff. It's tragic that it takes that long for truth this important, this big. I mean, there are alien spacecraft on the rim of the crater watching the very first moon landing. Do you know what kind of a news item that would have been? Can you even imagine? I mean, we've been gypped, folks. We've been gypped out of the truth, and we need to stand up. This is government by the people, for the people. We need to demand disclosure. Demand it. Our tax money paid for it. We need to know. We are the owners of this information. We paid for it, and we need to know. Okay? No more cover-ups. So, we're calling for full disclosure. Just like Corey Good and the rest of the truthers. And if anyone in the truth community is being attacked, it's probably be from the cabal, because they don't want the truth coming out. So that's the little moon story of William Tompkins, the little nugget he gave. Now, there are so many more things that William Tompkins reveals in this book. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely phenomenal. And ladies and gentlemen, you got to get this book. It's just, I don't know, sound like a broken record at this point, but here is a picture of a boring machine, okay? See that? A very heavy piece of equipment that bores through solid rock and can make a tunnel and can go at a very rapid pace building out tunnels. They actually flew one of these things to the moon to dig tunnels to make an underground base. Yes. And to other planets. It's absolutely incredible what we did. And we didn't even know about it. So we need to find out. And thank goodness brave people like William Tompkins are coming forward. If anybody else has any kind of information on anything, paranormal or alien or UFO related, come forward. I mean, there are so many outlets now on the internet, so you can get your information out there or start your own show. You know, it's a great thing. I mean, it's a fantastic thing that we have here. But it's great and everything, but our First Amendment rights are being trounced upon. You know, a lot of citizen journalists have to use made-up names, and Edge of Wonder guys are really good at this. Ben and Rob, like Kick 'em in the Cabals. I love that one. And the Illumidonkey, that's pretty clever. But journalists shouldn't have to, and researchers shouldn't have to make up words because certain words are being censored. This is America. Hello? This isn't China. This is America. So we need to complain about this. First Amendment rights. Freedom of speech, folks. I want to be able to say anything I want to. And you have the right to turn it on or turn it off. But no one should censor it. That's my opinion. But this is a family show here. You don't need to censor anything here. And the CV, I can't even say it because, you know, CV, I'm not monetized anyway, so who cares? But they might take it down. I don't want them to do that. Now, my buddy Red Pill calls it the Woo Flu. But he shouldn't have to do that. See, Red Pill is a professional journalist. He shouldn't have to be forced to work around the illegal censoring that these platforms are doing. So that's what I have to say about that. Fight, fight, fight. We need to fight for our rights, and you know, we'll get them back. We'll get them back. Things are turning around, and it's a glorious thing. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the alien interview. As I told you last episode, I'd talk some more about that book. Okay? But before we get to that book, I want to talk about Corey Goode. And I really want to express to you people that no one is above anybody else, okay? Corey is an average person like everybody. Don't put him above everybody. Don't put anybody above anybody. We're all one. We're all kind of the same. So I want to read to you from the Sphere Being Alliance website. And, you know, if you look at the message, which is the main thing that he's trying to get across here, if you look at the message, there's no way anyone could say anything bad about it. It's a beautiful message. So let me just read it for you. Okay, this is just a brief description. If you've never heard of Corey Goode before, he's a very interesting character, and I would love to have him on the show. There's so many questions I want to ask this gentleman. Who is the Sphere Being Alliance? Recently, the SSP Alliance was joined by a group of beings that no one had encountered before. They are a sixth density group of beings that have been referred to as the Sphere Being Alliance. These new sphere beings have not only created an energetic blockade around Earth, but have also done so around our entire solar system. That's a pretty big feat. They are a non-violent group of beings who have brought assistance mainly in the form of a message. It's a message. And here's the message. Focus on increasing your service to others and be more loving to yourself and everyone in order to raise your vibrational and consciousness level. Learn to forgive yourself and others, thus releasing karma. This will change the vibration of the planet. Raise the shared consciousness of humanity and change humankind one person at a time, even if that one person is yourself. They tell us to treat your body as a temple and change over to a higher vibrational diet to aid in the process. Now that's pretty nice. I can't see anything bad in that. What is the warning? They gave Corey a warning, these beings. The Blue Avians also gave a warning with this message. They had tried to deliver this message 3 other times in the past, but it was distorted by humanity. They made it very clear that this information was not to become a cult or a religious movement, nor was Corey to put himself before the message or elevate himself to a guru status. Anyone who does should be avoided and held accountable, including Corey. So, he's really in this tough spot. I mean, he's just an ordinary guy, and he's been given this message to give to humanity. And they keep encouraging him to give this message in different ways and to get it out to the big population. Now, he had a big show on Gaia TV with David Wilcock, Cosmic Disclosure, and it became a very popular show. People started to watch it, and a lot of awakened people or people who feel they're awakened were soaking this all in and wanting to connect somehow spiritually with these Blue Avians. However, that's not what they want either. They don't want us worshiping them. This is the whole point. We need to look within ourselves and become the change we want to be, and to become the people that we want other people to be. I mean, be an example. So, why is the Sphere Being Alliance here, you might ask? The Sphere Being Alliance is fighting the current controlled elite known as the Cabal or Illuminati, who exist on Earth at this very moment. There are events and battles occurring above our atmosphere, including the secret space programs and breakaway civilizations. The people of Earth have been in debt slavery, mind-controlled, sickened, and lied to in order to control the masses. We have had technologies suppressed from us that would change our lives. Yes, folks. The Alliance is here to help humanity evolve out of this lower frequency. It's time to know our rights, who we truly are, and what we need to do about it. These technologies would immediately collapse the world economies and make the Babylonian magic money slave system of no use anymore. Money would be obsolete. It means the loss of control of the 1% elite over the masses and a complete paradigm change. This is why they're after him. And anybody who speaks too much truth and wants to reveal the secrets of these people who've been keeping it from us, but yet we've been paying for it. Figure that one out. So, go, Corey. You're doing the right thing, and so don't try to connect to these people. Look within. Everything is within you. It's inside of you. The whole universe is within you. And you can access that by different ways. You can learn different modalities. But you don't need to look out to an outer being. We are genetically programmed. We're programmed to bow down to gods, and that brings me to this next book here. Alien Interview by Lawrence R. Spencer. And now Errol told Matilda. Now, Errol was the sole survivor of the Roswell crash and was talking in picture forms telepathically to Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, or McElroy. And Errol was trying to explain to her that she was more than a flesh being. Errol said, "You are an immortal spiritual being." And Matilda said, "Well, I know I'm a Catholic. I know about my soul." And Errol said, "No, you don't understand. You are an immortal spiritual being." And she said, "Well, I know I'm a Catholic." And Errol said, "Be out of your body." And all of a sudden, she found herself out of her body, and she was above her head, and she was a round ball. And she could see in all directions. And then Errol said, "Be back in your body." And she came back into her body, and she was kind of flustered, and she had to go to the ladies' room to kind of gather herself together. It was a very emotional thing. But she said, "Yes, now I understand what you're talking about." And it was this moment in the book when I had a personal connection, personal story that corroborated with this, which helps me to, whenever you read something like this, it automatically, for me, goes into the, maybe it's the 50% possibly true, or 40% or 60%, but it's never really 100% true unless I see it myself. Like when I saw a UFO, now I know they're real because I saw one, and no one can tell me I didn't see it. I totally saw it. But so I was out of my body, and I was a ball, like a ball of nothing but everything, and I could see in all directions. And I had scoured the internet, tried to find some other person who experienced what I experienced. Other people experienced, I had a light body and I could have hands. No, I was just a ball. And so this was the first time I read or heard any other account of being a ball out of your body, like a round ball, and being able to see in every single direction simultaneously in crystal clear vision like you never had before. And all of a sudden you know everything. So Errol explained to Matilda that the only word in our language, and Errol had to study our language in order to communicate telepathically with words. Only word in our language that describes what an ISB is, or an immortal spiritual being, an ISB, immortal spiritual being, is a God. So imagine that. Interesting. So it just blows you away, the possibilities. Now, do I believe it's true 100%? No, I don't really believe anything 100%. I learn something every day. So take everything with a grain of salt. Everything you hear, read, and, hold things off for corroborating evidence. Use your discernment. One of the other reasons that they may have been going after Corey Good was, in addition to all the truths he's been revealing about the secret space program, also he verified Q, the Q team, and the Alliance working together. And so, they don't want this out. They don't want this out. They'll rather destroy somebody than let this out. So, but we already know. We already know. So now we can demand that it all comes out. Because the cat's out of the bag. Totally. I mean, with William Tompkins, Corey Good, everything, all this stuff that's coming out, and more. Now, the mainstream media will try to push their limited hangout. That's what Jordan Sather calls it, the limited hangout, where the limited disclosure that the mainstream media, this Tom DeLonge thing, it's just a little bit spoon-fed. We want it all, and we want the good and the bad. Rip the Band-Aid off, like I think David Wilcock says, and we'll heal up really nicely once we know the truth. An informed citizenry is what is needed for this kind of government to work. The citizenry needs to be informed, and Q is informing the citizenry of the way our world really is. And for us who've been following Q since first drop in October 2017, it's been a heck of a roller coaster ride. When we see things in the news, it's like, yeah, we knew that 2 years ago from Q. It's amazing. And I really love the fact that they're using the NSA and all the data collection to go after the bad guys and the human traffickers and the child traffickers. Now, childhood is sacred. Anyone who harms a child should get the severest of punishments, because childhood is sacred. Every adult should try very hard in every time they are near a child to always be respectful of that child and never harm them in any kind of way. And those who do, guess what? The walls have eyes, and you're going to be found. And now that Q and the Patriots have all this information, they're coming after the bad guys, and there's going to be no relenting. And thank goodness. And we need to save these children and these people caught in this human trafficking thing. It's just terrible. So we'll talk about Q and everything else. But and thank you for joining me again here on Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarty. Join me next time where we'll explore more fun stuff and truth and maybe half-truths. We'll figure it out together, okay? This is Aaron Moriarty signing off. See you next time out on the web, and peace in.